Hi, I'm Caitlin, and this is Book Chats, and today's Top 5 Wednesday is Top 5 Fictional Cities. Sorry for the crappy background and crappy lighting. I'm cooking something in the oven right now, so I have 15 minutes to get this done so that I can eat it. The fifth city on my list is Lakeside from Written and Read by Anne Bishop. So this is a series that is a supernatural set in like an alternate Earth where there are these others and they have these great powers. And what's interesting about this book is that it's introducing this kind of complex, intricate alternate Earth to us, but it does that through the lens of Lakeside, this single community. And even within that, there's like a community within the community that we're introduced to, kind of in the way that Holly Black and the Coldest Girl in Cold Town has these cold towns where like the bad things live, except in that they were being shut into those cold towns. This is a similar kind of concept. There is a place in every city where the others live, except that the others own everything and they just rent space to those humans. And so the place where the others live, the human law doesn't have sway there, and they're in charge. And it's really interesting the way in this book that she really helps you to feel this city, and through this city, the rest of the world. And so I really find it interesting. And that's kind of what I'm going to say, is that these are not necessarily like cities that I want to live in or that I think would like be cool to exist in real life, but like cities that I think are very interesting to the plot. So the city I'm going to talk about is like Asteri and the Barrow Village, which are in The Real Boy by Anne Ursu. If you can see, there's like over here the city and the village. It's a beautiful map. The way that this city ends up being used in the book is really interesting. It's like this shining city on the hill where all the perfect pretty people live, to the protagonist, and he really struggles. He doesn't really understand like how to communicate with people. I think the author has either openly said that he is autistic or has said that he's meant to resemble someone with autism or on the autism spectrum. And he's an apprentice for one of the magicians in the community, the village next to the city, and just things happen in the city and outside of the city, and the village supports the city. And I just felt like the city was almost like the divisions between the city and the way things were shaped, like it almost felt like a character, and it almost felt like the main character, like as he struggles to understand things and understand people, like it's easier for him to understand the city than it is for him to understand the people in it. I don't know if that's a good description, but it's a really good book. You should definitely consider picking it up. Book number three in my countdown is Lavandaville from Serafina. It's the capital city. Anyway, what I love about this city, where most of the action in this book takes place, is that it's written in a way that feels very real, and it's in a medieval Middle Ages type society, but like in a fantasy world where there are dragons, and the dragons are like Vulcans, and it's just things happen, guys. It's great. This whole book, the whole kingdom, feels very constructed, but the city feels so constructed in a way that's very real, from the castle that Serafina, the main character, lives in, to the churches and the way that they dominate over the city during kind of this Middle Ages type society, to kind of like the slum part of the city where what are they called? The like lesser dragons live, and their like dragon scholars go consort and like, go to taverns and stuff. It's just like the city feels so real and so constructed and really informs your view of the society and of what's going on in this book. And I really don't have enough positive things to say about Serafina. I really love this. It is quite slow moving. And everyone who reads it, if you haven't read it, you need to know that there is a glossary in the back, because I didn't know that the first time I read it, and I was just like trying to figure out as I went. But it helps when it just throws you in the deep end and doesn't give any explanation, and you're just like thrown into this society with all this crazy stuff happening, and you're like, what? And it's like disorienting, because not only is it fantasy, but it's like medieval fantasy and all of that. So if you need help when you're reading it, there's a glossary in the back. So my second book is one that I think I liked more than a lot of other people, but I especially think that the city in this was very forward-thinking and very interesting, and especially as part of like a booktube community, the booktube community on YouTube, I think that this city is really interesting. So I don't know what the city is called, but it's the main city in Extras, the fourth book in the Uglies trilogy by Scott Westerfeld. It is a city, I think, in like a Japan style culture. So maybe it's like, I don't know, New Tokyo or something. Who knows? It's a city where everyone's like place in society and like their currency is really social currency and societal currency. And it's basically how popular they are. Like dictates what they get in life. And you don't have to just be popular to get things. You can also like do things that are good for society and earn credits that way. But really the main character, what she's trying to do is get fame through the videos that she makes and the followers that she has so that she can have a better place in society. And I just think it was a really interesting commentary on kind of fame in the 21st century in the United States, and also just, I want to tell you guys, it doesn't like go into depth with it. It doesn't go into this very detailed analysis of the society. It kind of just perks your interest, but it's one book. It's standalone-ish. It kind of tacks onto the trilogy, but kind of not. And I think it's just like about the power of fame and seeking fame. Like it asks a lot of questions, but there's a lot of questions it doesn't ask that you can ask yourself, and there's very few answers given. So I think that is interesting, a very, very interesting fictional city. There's a lot you can say about it that isn't necessarily said in the book. And then my number one fictional city is actually one that it does occur in books, but it is most commonly known or most well known through actually a radio drama, and that is Lake Wobegon from the Prairie Home Companion and Garrison Keillor's work. So Garrison Keillor is actually from a town next to my hometown, and listening to his radio show and listening to him talk about Lake Wobegon, I think many Minnesotans feel connected to that, and I especially do. But he just tells stories every week on Prairie Home Companion, Garrison Keillor does, about the city, and they just remind me so much of so many things that are familiar to me and that I love so dearly, and I find it really great. And so I definitely am having Lake Wobegon as my number one fictional city because it feels like home to me, even though it's not real. Those are my 5 favorite fictional cities. What fictional cities do you enjoy? Do you agree or disagree with any of my takes? Oh, also, let me know if you listen to Prairie Home Companion. All right, bye.